you understand?
Hey everybody, I'm Tony Jones, and welcome to the Tony Jones Show.
There's just not enough people are willing to take the risk. It's just sort of a herd mentality, a lemming-like mentality. If you don't go with the flow, you're anti-American and therefore a suspect.
The Tony Jones Show, featuring punk, rockabilly, psychobilly, and Providence, Rhode Island's finest, starts right now.
He's a dangerous militia member out here. Oh, and there she blows.
It's a new day for the state, giving back to the underpaid. Time to stop an endless war, break down the White House doors. It's a new day for the poor, give them back what they're fighting for. Time to smash the upper class, take their world back while it lasts. You and me could start a revolution, take back what's ours and smash the institution. It's a new day for the government, don't know where our money went. Paid up corporate CEOs, unemployment takes its toll. Need to fight for the working class, bring up from the Republican past. Rolling bastards on our backs, time for the youth to fight back. You and me could start a revolution, take back what's ours and smash the institution. It's a new day and it's ours, time to stop all the pointless wars. Realize that the government should do the job it's meant to do. Nothing but sit and stare, like it's a game of truth or dare. Won't help me fix what's wrong for right. Youth of America's time to fight. You and me could start a revolution, take back what's ours and smash the institution.
Destination for talk and rock. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. George Goner. George, good evening.
Good evening.
It's great to have you back in the fold here on the Tony Jones Show. Of course, we're online at TonyJones.org. On Facebook, it's Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show. On the almighty Twitter, at Tony Jones in RI. Thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us live. And, of course, if you're catching the podcast, I want to thank you for tuning in all over the globe, hanging out with us each and every week. And I've been talking about for quite some time, we want to start here. We want to talk to the best and the brightest. We want to rotate some more filmmakers here through the Tony Jones Show. And that's what we're going to do tonight with Mr. Brian Casey. But I just want to mention real quick, next week, check us out, the Tony Jones Show and Rhode Island Free Radio at Comic-Con. It's going to be a great weekend. And we're also going to be out on Friday night supporting Gothorama. And if you can imagine what Gothorama is, it is exactly what it sounds like it is. It's the Rhode Island Dark Music Festival. That's happening Friday night down at Firehouse 13. And, George, I've mentioned it on the show before. If you haven't been to Firehouse 13 in a while, go down there and check it up. They're gussying the place up.
It's you can't say it's a completely different place because they've kept the good and they've tossed out the bad.
Exactly, yeah. And if you're nervous about the neighborhood, they have, and this is great to see for folks like us that go out a lot, they have people in the parking lots that is such a lifesaver for those of us who have, well, it doesn't happen anymore, but in the past, I've lost many a compact disc to my car being parked on the streets of Providence.
Well, they've moved up from compact disc. Now you lose laptops and iPods and things like that.
Right.
So I'll tell you, isn't it, though, a really basic concept for a club in a questionable neighborhood rather than go out of business, just have a couple of guys hanging around the parking
Right?
lot?
Exactly.
It's such an easy solution.
For the $12 an hour you're going to pay the security guard to hang out in the parking lot all night, you're going to get people in the door. It's we're turning Rhode Island's economy around right here on the Tony Jones Show tonight. But as I mentioned, Brian Casey is in studio. Brian, great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to talk about your upcoming project, which is this time each year, and you brought some of the actual folks that are in the film
Yes, I did.
in with you tonight. But let's talk a little bit. Let's break it down to how you got started in filmmaking. What made you want to become a filmmaker?
I wanted to be a filmmaker since I was 12. I got my first 8mm camera. Originally, it started as an interest in special effects makeup. I became a big fan of the Universal horror kind of characters like Dracula, Frankenstein, and so forth.
You're in the right place then.
Yeah. So, and that sort of evolved. That's how I started in filmmaking in 2005. I did special effects makeup, and it just kind of grew and grew. And after a while, I decided I wanted to do because there wasn't a lot of horror movies being made.
Right.
So to broaden, I had to do something different. I started writing, and that led me to dramatic filmmaking.
So tell us about some of your past projects.
We recently released a film called Alone. It deals with the subject of homelessness, and it stars local actor Sissy O'Hara. And that was shot in Newport and Fall River, and it was about a woman who was struggling to get back on her feet after she, became homeless. So.
It's interesting to see, and I've seen this in quite a few filmmakers. They go from horror to romantic comedies to more serious subjects like that. Is there a thread that leads you to kind of think about not being pigeonholed and going out and pursuing different genres of filmmaking?
Well, I think what draws most people to horror early on is they feel it's the easy sell, and
that's true.
And that's kind of where they cut their teeth, and then it's either they will just continue in that genre, or they'll branch out and they'll just use it as a springboard.
One of my favorite B movies, the head that wouldn't die, or the brain that wouldn't die. That has, if you can imagine, that and some of the Tor Johnson movies have inspired filmmakers to actually want to go out and do it.
Yeah, but on the flip side now, giving horror some respectability, I noticed that the best horror movies, I mean, when you're up there with Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist,
right.
Suspiria, the good ones, are usually made by directors and producers who don't usually do horror.
Yeah.
So it seems when starting in the horror field with the B movies, it's the B movies leading to serious projects.
Right.
But the serious horror is made by directors who have started in other categories, and then they want to try their hand at it later on.
Right.
That seems like when we get the best results.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite horror directors is Sam Raimi. One of the films that got me into doing makeup was The Evil Dead.
Nice.
And he went from the horror movies into doing mainstream. He got Spider-Man, and that's now what he's more known for. But
Right.
he's
But that's the B movie track. Although calling Evil Dead, I would quibble sometimes with calling the original Evil Dead a B movie because that, I mean, yes, the production standards were low, but that's an effective movie. That's one of the few movies that ever, as an adult, it put me under the couch. Not under the couch itself because there was too many like dust bunnies under there. It's scary. But under the blanket on the couch, so to speak.
I always thought that if I were to open a bakery, being as a horror movie fan, it would be called "I'll Swallow Your Scone." We're going to go back down to some music. We're going to talk more throughout the hour with Brian Casey and his guest. The upcoming film is This Time Each Year. We're going to talk about that in a bit. I got to mention, I did not do my job this evening. We started off with Bending Over Backwards, great local punk band, New Day, the name of that track. And, of course, as we talked about different genres of film here, we're going to go through all the different genres of music as we do each and every week here on the Tony Jones Show. Here's some Hunter. I wrote the name of this song down because I always have a hard time saying it. Smooth Seas Never Made for a Competent Sailor. You were tuned in to the Tony Jones Show, online at TonyJones.org.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're my left-hand man. You're a habit I can't stand. Duty calls right when we found land. You were fishing and I was swimming. I got caught inside your net. I am your best bet. When you're sailing around the world, I won't mind being the girl. With each wave you hit, no, I'm the mermaid that made it. Swimming right beside, through the ropes and the riptide. Mooring anchors away, I'll see you when you're home, babe. Currents brought us together through all the stormy weather. We see the same skies over us, the sun it flies. And the waves don't crash as hard, and the breaks of them don't sparkle. And I hope you catch my tail everywhere that you may sail. When you're sailing around the world, I won't mind being the girl. With each wave you hit, no, I'm the mermaid that made it. Swimming right beside, through the ropes and the riptide. Mooring anchors away, I'll see you when you're home, babe. The waves pulled you away, away, away. And I pulled your anchor to stay. Now on the sand I lay. Please never leave the bay. The waves pulled you away. And I pulled your anchor to stay. And now on the sand I lay. Please never leave the bay.
Some Hunter right here on the Tony Jones Show. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me. We're online at TonyJones.org. It's Facebook.com/Tony Jones Show, on the almighty Twitter at TonyJonesNRI. Thanking you for checking in with me on Twitter at TonyJonesNRI. Of course, if you're catching the live broadcast, you can contact me throughout the broadcast on our various social media accounts. And as always, thank you all for tuning in podcast form. Some Hunter right there. We kick things off with some bending over backwards. The subject tonight, filmmaking. My co-host, George Garner, my guest, Brian Casey. You guys were talking a little bit off the air about this, and I want to tickle it a little because, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of folks around, Rhode Island is a great place to make a film because you can go from the dumpster, the landfill in Johnston, to being in a scenic oceanfront setup in 15, 20 minutes time. Do you think there was a big push a few years back, I remember. Do you think, A, that Rhode Island is a great place to make a film, and will it eventually turn into Hollywood East, as some people would like it to?
Yeah, I do think it's a great place to shoot films. I'm not sure if it will necessarily be Hollywood East, but I think there could definitely be a very strong, legitimate, independent film scene here. And there are filmmakers right now who are already proving that. People like Richard Griffin, Tommy DeNucci, Chad Verdi, they're doing that right here. And they're getting name actors to come to town, and they're working with big budgets. So I think there's definitely potential for more filmmakers to break through, and I hope to be one of them.
So in true Rhode Island form, I played a 7-foot nun in one of Richard Griffin's films. Mm-hmm. It was just probably something I shouldn't mention regularly.
Except that you do and you love it.
Except that it was, we talk about the different support services that go into, even independent and then mid-budget films. So this was a mid-budget film, and so I was playing a nun, and to make my habit, we used some curtains. And I'm told I made a very handsome nun.